Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the evening reception. I hope that you enjoyed the second Business Blade Strategic Forum that took place this morning, as well as the opening ceremony and the first two sessions of the 8th Blade Strategic Forum. Before I give the floor to our keynote speaker, I would like to remind you of the Night Owl session, which starts at 10:15 here at the Grand Hotel Toplice. I invite you to join the discussion in the relaxed atmosphere about the mindset for high-tech technology development, to enjoy the marvelous view of the lake and the castle, and to taste Slovene brand new vodka made of buckwheat and the speed glass invented by the S Project and designed by the Slovenian glass company Steklarna Hrastnik. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I invite Madame Fatou Bensouda, prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, to give a keynote address. Madame Bensouda, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my honor to say a few words at the start of this reception in the presence of so many eminent guests. We gather here in this beautiful bled to discuss a number of important topics under the title, A Changing World, A Changing Europe in a Changing World. We are all witnesses to change. In a time of rapid globalization, the world has increasingly become a smaller place. New technologies allow us to reach the previously remote places of the world. Political, military, and economic interests are more complex. Wars and conflicts are no longer between two armies. It is now a confrontation involving various groups, states, as well as non-state actors, and they have huge ripple effects, from destabilizing entire regions to impacting on the international financial markets. People are no longer confined to their towns, regions, and national borders. What happens in Darfur, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or in Syria has an impact on Europe and on humanity as a whole. In parallel, the proliferation of human rights instruments at the national, regional, and international level has come to frame the development of our globalized world. Universal norms and values were codified to provide protection and accountability, notably under the instigation of civil society movements. Protection for potential victims of torture, genocide, crimes against women and children, accountability for those with enough power and influence to commit massive crimes. In a global world, comprehensive institutions of international character are needed. This trend of institutionalization, largely thanks to European efforts, has been working its way into international relations since the 1648 Peace of Westphalia, which established the objective of achieving permanent peace. The attempt for international institutionalization gained impetus in the last 100 years with the formation of the Council of Europe, the League of Nations, the United Nations, and later the European Union. A similar trend of institutionalization was taking place in the legal domain as well. The Nuremberg and the Tokyo military tribunals after World War II were the first bodies that highlighted the importance of the concept of justice in achieving sustainable peace. These precedents paved the way for the formation of the International Criminal Tribunal for Yugoslavia and the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda in the mid-1990s. These ad hoc tribunals, in turn, again, raised the idea of international justice into the upper echelons of the global agenda. The Rome Statute, creating the International Criminal Court, is the latest offshoot of this idea, a judicial institution complementary to national jurisdictions designed to contribute to the prevention of massive atrocities and therewith to more stable and prosperous societies. As such, an independent and a permanent justice component has been added to the world's efforts to achieve peace and security in line with the quickly evolving normative framework providing for the protection of human rights across borders and nationalities. The Rome Statute framework, advocated for and ratified by all the members of the European Union, has created an opportunity to realize global justice by applying one standard for all its 122 states parties and the 2.4 billion people that are under its protection. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the International Criminal Court, as a relatively young organization, is still striving to find its place in international relations. But already, we can see that it is impacting on the work of politicians, lawmakers, mediators, and army leaders who are adopting their behavior to the Rome Statute framework. The underlying legal norms are crystallizing. The world now needs to further strengthen its understanding how to make use of this new instrument. Better cooperation between national authorities and the International Criminal Court, and more ratifications of the Rome Statute. To progress, to grow, we need to continue to change, learning from past experiences. As prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, I will continue to do my part to solidify the change that we've made, the change we promised in Rome in 1998. And that is to give victims of massive crimes a voice against the few powerful individuals, and to ultimately prevent future crimes for a more secure world. I am confident that you all, each in his own or her own way, will contribute to changing this world and changing it durably. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you a pleasant evening and a more fruitful discussions on the final day of the forum tomorrow. I thank you.